planted all the avocado trees. They are very good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think we all love avocado. Who doesn't like avocado?
There's some.
I think runs in our blood. We're working off Theo's last comments about how young you were when you started working hard labor under very difficult conditions, hot sun and everything else. Mom, you mentioned that there was a group of people that when school was over and these kids were very young, you would walk them all down to the train station. Who went and then jumped the train, and Dad would go pick fruit and come back, save money to buy clothes for the next year.
Oh yeah.
Did you go, Theo?
No, we went in '43 when I was born. That was my first trip to San Jose. My grandfather was during the war, and my grandfather he had five men and 2 daughters. My grandfather. My dad, my tío Daniel, my tío Trine, Sean, Effendis.
He had a lot of boys.
Yeah, he had 5. So now I was the 3rd born. My brother Nano, no, I was the 4th born. My brother Nano, Mimi, Molly, and myself. And that was in '43. So that was 5 months old when we went. It was in April of '43. And I know because there's a picture of the whole family. My grandfather took us on the train because there was no oil, there was no gas, there was no rubber for your tires.
Oh, that's right. They were taking
because of the war.
Tires to the war.
My grandfather used to take them before I was born. My grandfather used to he would leave the market, he would close down the market, and take the family to San Jose to pick fruit because in the 3-month period, he would make a lot of money and take it back to Del Rio.
Sell it.
And yeah.
So then, Mom, do you remember now that you told me in the past that the boys, my dad and some of his friends would go jump the train and ride the train up north and pick, right? Do you remember who went with my dad?
It was Adan Romo, and Guido Paulini went with him.
Yeah, he's passed away.
Yeah, they all passed away. Adan and Guido and Adan and Guido, they were the only ones that jumped the train and went out.
How old were they when they were doing that?
About 15. And then at 16 we were married. And then we all together came to California in San Jose. Guido, Adan Romo, Lara, who else?
So
Romo, Lara.
No, we didn't.
No, she was.
No, I was still little.
Yeah, she was little. About 5 of Lara's friends and I were living in one apartment. All boys and me. One boy had to stay with me because I was pregnant with Rudy. And the other boys had to go out and work. And the boy that the guy that stayed with me was, I don't remember his name, but he had a dimer. So we had a dime to call the ambulance if I got Peggy's with Rudy.
We left you with a dime.
And Lara's friend, I think it was a Dan Romo. Every boy took a turn every day. There was 5 boys and me living in one apartment.
And then
And they gave a dime every day because they didn't have any money.
That worked.
And so in case I had the pains, they know how to call the doctor, the ambulance, or somebody to come and get me. Because Lara took all the boys to go pick cherries. And Lara was the only one we had a car. And there was like 5 boys living with us, 5 boys and our friends living with us.
That was in San Antonio.
San Jose, California.
So now going back to Del Rio, and this is such a great conversation. I always want to continue this all night long.
Sure.
Because we got 1,000 stories, I'm sure.
Yes.
And we need to document them. And
Definitely.
but Del Rio wasn't exactly the friendliest city outside of Del Rio for Mexicans. In fact, there was probably establishments that you could not go because you were Mexican. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah,
I was raised,
He was
raised here in
all white
California.
town.
On summer vacations, they'd send me to Mexico, which, you know, it's all Mexican. The first time I felt prejudice was after I got married at 19. We went to Del Rio, and actually it was in Alpine, to be truthful, but in that area. We went over there, and we went in this restaurant,
Complaining about these.
and we were gonna have a special dinner, because we didn't go out to eat, we didn't have money. And we walked in, I had money already, and the lady said, "Oh, follow me." And I'm going, "Oh, you know, we're gonna get a special table." She's taking me to this back table, you know, and I thought, well, because the baby, you know. And Mario's halfway said, "Vámonos." And I go, "What do you mean, vámonos? You said you're taking me out to dinner, you know?" And he goes, "Vámonos." And he just turned around and started walking. I said, "Why did we walk out?" He goes, "Don't you see they were sitting us in the kitchen?"
Yeah.
Oh.
And I didn't catch it because I had never felt, in Cyprus where we grew up, you didn't feel that prejudice.
Right.
And to tell you the truth, I didn't realize it was that bad until I actually lived in Del Rio. And when I lived there, it was past the real bad stage, like when Terry and you guys went swimming and they told you to get out.
Yeah.
Where was it been?
So,
Where?
In Alpine, Texas.
Oh, well.
so Mom, tell us a little bit about swimming then.
That story.
The plunge. Well, before you met my dad, you said you met a gentleman that was in the Air Force that
He
liked
was
you.
Hank Villarreal.
What's his name?
Hank Villarreal. The same name as I
Oh,
have.
very young.
That's what
And
he
so he wanted to take you.
to the, because he was
More
white.
part to the.
He wanted to take me to the
The
white
airman.
swimming pool.
He went swimming.
So he's an officer, is an Air Force officer.
Yes,
He wanted to take you to the pool.
yes, and I wanted to go to the pool. And he was,
Gotta throw that in there.
and I've never been in a pool, in a white pool. Oh my God, when he invited me, I said, yes, I go. I'm here. And so we went and he was bringing me in and he said, and they put a stop to it. Right, he came in and I was, "You can't come in." And I said, "What?" And he turned around and he says, "Why not?" And he goes, "She's a Mexican. We don't, Mexicans allowed."
No, come allowed here.
And he goes,
No whites in the store.
"I am American. I am serving in the Air Force. She has a right to come in here. I'm fighting for you white people."
Yeah.
And they said, "Sorry, the Mexicans allowed." And he says, "Okay, then I don't come in."
Yeah.
That night, all the guys from the base, Fox, Blanca, do you remember Fox? Huh? You remember Fox?
I don't remember.
Get out of
Where
here.
did you went? Where did you go? To Viejonia.
No, Fox, Hank was my boyfriend, Fox was your boyfriend. And and Blanca, we were not married yet. And Fox and Hank was my boyfriend. And the other girl and the other guys from the base went that night and filled that swimming pool with rocks, stones, and dirt because they refused for us to go in there. They made a number of
Payback.
that swimming pool.
Well, San Felipe,
Yeah.
in San Felipe, we have, the river runs down the middle of Del Rio. And the north side is Del Rio, white, and the south side is San Felipe, Mexico, all Mexican. And there's always been, when I was growing up, there were two families, black families, three black families, but they were all interrelated, you know? And so we grew up with these guys, but they had to go to our school. They couldn't go to across the river on the other side.
Because that was the white.
Yeah, back then, in the 40s and the 50s. And even we're talking about discrimination. Swimming pool in Del Rio, they didn't start doing this until the late early 60s.
Early 60s?
Early 60s in Del Rio. Eventually, that
We
thing,
didn't have nothing.
the swimming pool, they started letting the raza put it into the swimming pool 1 day a week. On
No
Thursday.
way. 1 day away in the 60s. Huh?
1 day a week on Thursday. Now this water is fed into the swimming pool from the river that runs right alongside there. So they would drop the water and fill the pool. On Thursday they would dump the water, dump it. Thursday afternoon and the evening after the Mexicans swim there, they would drain the swimming pool and refill it. Because they were gonna, for a whole week, the white people are gonna swim there. And that's the way it was. That's the way it was. You know, now the river that runs along that San Felipe Creek, it runs from they call it San Felipe Springs. And there's water, tons of water that comes through there daily. I mean, that water just flows, and it flows directly into the Rio Grande. And the Italians, when they settled in the Viñas, which is the area where they used to plant, and they used to plant everything there. In fact, they still do it. They have food, they have wineries, they have vegetable farms there, you know. And this water that goes through the rivers, all they do is they're not charged. They're not charged. They don't pay for that all the water that comes out of the river. They just rock the water and they do canals. And the river runs alongside, and the water is routed to these canals. And when they open for irrigation, they start like at Gillis Street, and down right there, the water starts flowing right down to downtown, and some are routed to the south. And all that area there is already routed to the fields where all this Italians are. And the families are still there. You know, there's a few Mexicans that bought down there. You know, so they have businesses now. But this is after I left.
So they didn't have any good water in Del Rio.
Rudy, let me tell you something that's really interesting about that swimming pool. We're gonna be watching the movie pretty soon, and there's the San Felipe Country Club where all the discrimination was happening, and the San Felipe Springs feeded, and right next to the San Felipe Country Club, there was our watering hole. It was called El Agua Azul, the water.
Yeah.
So all of us used to go swimming there. The boys that you see, well, not the boys, but the characters that are portrayed there were friends of ours. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used
So
to.
you know some of the people that are in the movie that we're going to see.
Right, the characters, not the actual actors.
Right.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
We knew them.
Yeah, and then basically what was happening was that
They were younger.
was
It takes place in 57.
yeah, 57. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were young. We were young.
Were you still in high school?
But in the other side.
Yeah.
We were in elementary. I was in middle
We
school,
were in junior high.
junior high school, and they were in high school.
At San Felipe High School, that San Felipe Junior High School was
And
right
the other
behind
swimming pool,
the
no.
main site,
Yeah.
which is,
And so what was ironic was that all of us went swimming in this beautiful swimming water that came out of the pool, and when they drained the pool, they would fill it up with the water that we had already been swimming in.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
there was
so
a presa.
yeah, and then when the water went by the bridge, there was an area called the pig pen, and we used to also go swimming there, and we used to wash our cars there. We used to drive them up in the water and wash our cars. So it was like a cycle, you know, of dealing with discrimination and poverty. Because we didn't have any, you know. I mean, we couldn't take baths every day. Our showers were swimming in the beautiful
Oh,
water.
so your
of
dad's
the
like the water.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
How
They
It's like
had-
the spring-
You had
springs.
tinas, right?
Yeah.
At home, everybody, you know that rhyme
Yeah,
that
they-
says,
we
don't
didn't-
throw the baby out with the
Yeah.
bathwater?
Right.
That's true, because you heated up the big olla of hot water and you got a big tina and the oldest got in first, the next, by age. And then the little one got the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, what did you guys
what
call
we used to
that?
do
What did you
was
guys call that?
when we were diving, because we were really good,
Latina.
good swimmers, all of us, including the golfers that you see.
That's what we.
Because they have to dive, they have to, when the
And then she
golfers
would use
used to
that
get
stuff to water.
pissed because their balls would go in the water, they would make them.
Make the caddies go in and get their
make
ball?
To get the what, the balls.
That's
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, and
How about
then.
grandma in baseball?
And then, when the caddies, when they left the balls in there, the caddies would go and they would dive for them, clean them up, sell them back to the golfers that were coming in there, who were golfing. And since they were in high school already, they were juniors and seniors, they would pass by us, they were there, They would throw, just for challenges, they would throw balls in the deepest part of the Lago Azul.
Wow.
To see who could dive in there and get the balls.
Wow.
And that was a big thing. I mean, it was a cycle. We didn't know we were living in discrimination. We just were living, having a good time.
Grandma, how about your softball years, your career? How'd that go?
What?
Your softball. Your career with softball, the League of Their Own? Did that start in Texas?
Yeah, that started in that.
So why didn't you stay with it?
Because I got married with Lara.
And why wouldn't they let you play?
You can let me play, and then we came, and I wanted to come to California. That was my dream. So I came to California, and then I started playing with the women's league here in California. And Betty wouldn't let me. And I would still go play, but then he said, no, you can't, you gotta take care of the kids. So I played with about 30
When they got older, they found out who was the king, queen.
You were in the newspaper and everything, huh, girl?
Oh, yeah.
We women also, we can ride bicycles, remember?
Oh, I drove bicycles on my life.
No riding
No, I did.
They didn't want you to drive because you're a lady, and a lady does not get into a bicycle.
Oh, no, I had a bicycle.
You know,
She had a
Del
bicycle.
Rio was a racist town, and it still is a racist town. I'm talking about racist. Your own people are, your own people discriminated against you. You know, because what? They were well off. You know, they were either lawyers, or their dad, or doctors, because maybe a dad or a mother had that profession. So you see this guys will follow that profession, but they would discriminate against the poor guy. Hey, like kick him in the ass, and get out of my way, man. You're dirty. Yeah. And that was very common.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them, but there were.
Yeah.
There were.
Really, there was discrimination.
The most
yes.
racist,
But-
most racist towns.
But if there was discrimination, I understand that. But there was people that were good.
Of
I
course,
played
of
baseball
course.
with Carl guys, all gabachas except me. And they took care of me like I was number one.
That's because you were.
And-
Otherwise, they
and-
wouldn't have.
They got me.
You would have been going.
No, this is not, I'm not saying this to be mean or to say that I was good. I'm saying this because I demanded my rights. I was a good player.
She was a good pitcher.
A good pitcher, and the guy was a white. There was all white people in my team. I was the only one in Blanca, but I was a traveling one.
Blanca, you were there too?
I was traveling with all the white people, and they all slept naked without their pajamas, and I was used to my gown. And I told the coach, I would not sleep with these girls that are naked. And I told my grandmother I don't want to go because they all sleep in their calzones, and I had my flannel down, and they made fun of me. And when the coach came to ask my grandmother that they wanted me because supposedly I was the best pitcher. So my grandmother said she has to have a room by herself, a bed by herself, and a chaperone, or she won't go. She doesn't like to sleep with the girls naked. We're not used to sleep naked. We're used to sleep with a gal. So Carl guy says, I'll have a lady. What's her name? I don't know what her name is. I have a lady that goes with her. We need her. I'll promise you she'll have a room and a bed by herself, not sleeping in the... I said, they sleep naked. I don't like to sleep in my calzones. I have my gown.
At Queenie.
No,
Did you have your calzones
Queenie,
on?
what position? So that's what I was gonna ask. You're a catcher? That's a
All
tough.
Mexicans.
All Mexican
But
girl
I
team?
No, we were the only Mexicans.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was a pitcher and everybody else was white.
And so
when
did you
people
practice
sleep-
together to get good? Did you pitch to Queenie
Yeah.
to practice so you guys would be good?
No, I wasn't a team with all garages.
No, I'm saying, but Queenie was the catcher. You're the pitcher.
He was in the
She
team
used to
that
catch.
made it.
Was she in the same?
Oh,
You were in the same team?
I was with the women's league. I was with the women's
Queenie
league.
But Queenie said you guys were also playing together.
We played in another team, but I played with the
So on the
white
other
people
team, the other team, they were all white, and Queenie and you were the only Mexicans on the other team. Not the women's league.
With Carl guys.
I was the
I was the
captain
only
of the pitcher.
Hispanic
She
in
remembers.
junior high.
Very good. I didn't know that. Okay.
I want to make a comment before we go.
Yeah, before we could put the movie on.
Yeah, that's what I mean, before we put the movie on. You've got to remember that Queenie and Tere are very light skinned. Had they been morenas or prietas, they would not have been accepted.
No. Carl guys never was Mexican. I never.
No, Mom, but it's true.
It's true. It
When
happened
you're light
here
skinned,
in
you get away with a lot more.
Oh.
I want to thank them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that was always the same thing with the students.
Yeah?
The light-skinned students, although they were Mexicanos,
Yeah.
you know, would be kind of like the teacher's pets.
Right, right.
And let me tell you.
So my dad wasn't a teacher.
Yeah,
he
you can
was
travel.
Let me tell you.
He was an admiral.
Let me tell you one thing, Miguel.
He was
And I'm not bragging. I was a good pitcher, and I was a good pitcher, and I'm not bragging. And I didn't like to sleep with girls in the bed, and they sleep in their calzones. I did not like that. So I had to have a special bed, and I had to have a lady, a Mexican chaperone, to go with me, and I had to put my gown on, and they made fun of me. But I traveled all over with a team and a chaperone.
Just one thing about your dad that
And
when
all
I
the girls
remember-
would sleep together because I wasn't used to that.
But I remember, I was just really, I went with Tere, and I used to go visit them when they first got married in Del Rio. They lived at the St. Joseph's Project, and
We lived in the
we-
project.
Yeah, in the projects at St. Joseph's. And one time, I'm not sure who was driving, but we went to see Lara, and he was at the cantina in the plaza, and I just thought he was just there helping, you know, Bora. And pretty soon the men started coming in, and I was sitting there, just kind of there, and Lara was the bartender. And he was 15 or 16, and that's the first time that I remember that he made an impression on me.
15-year-old. My mom said he was bartending at 13 years old.
Wow.
He was bartending, right there in the placita, right in Bora's cantina.
And this is how we met each other.
It was kind of exciting for me because I had never
Here in San Antonio.
seen him do that.
San Antonio was San
And I was
Antonio.
just maybe, what, 11?
They used to sit in a bar.
Yeah, and I was sitting there. It was customary for the kids to just sit and that's it. You didn't move, you didn't do anything. You just sat and behave. Yeah.
How old were you when you met my mom, Queenie?
They're the same age.
She doesn't hear. Queenie, she says she do.
How old were you when you met my mom?
How I met her? We were playing little girls.
Era cuando vivía en la casa de mi tío Mencho, y tú vivías a Cahuela.
How old were you?
Don't you remember when we used to meet to go to school?
How old?
I don't know.
I went to Catholic school.
I know. And then right after, I went 1 year to Catholic school
Because of you. Otherwise, she wouldn't be Catholic.
Yeah. And then she went to high school.
Yeah, I went to high school. They wanted to send me to her academy. I said, I'm not going to go with the Gabachos. Why pay so much money when I can go to high school? I want to go to high school.
We met at the corner all the time, and from there we went to school.
I remember both of you taking us to the Loma de la Cruz.
Yeah.
We used to go hiking. We used to go
I used to
hiking.
go over there to smoke.
And they would take us.
I think what we're taking from here is, you know, we've all been talking. Somehow we're all related and linked to each other in friendship and in blood, and we are our own little San Felipe right here. Okay, that's the way it feels, and that's the way it is in el barrio de San Felipe. We loved each other. The mothers took care of other kids. I mean, just if the kids were doing something wrong, they would, you know, talk to the mother or bring them in and give them a good talking to. Yeah, a good talking to. So this is what they call the San Felipe spirit, and that's what we need to bring up, because in San Felipe the spirit lives on. We have had reunions of our schoolmates for ages. We even went to our 50th. I think I have it somewhere over there. Our 50th, mind you, reunion, because we won't give up. We want to still keep our barrio, we want to keep our school, and we want to tell the history of el barrio, because it is historical. The old cemetery is a historical landmark. La Plaza is a historical landmark. The School San Felipe is a historical landmark. So, and the arch, we built this arch. Let's pass this around. And in this arch, they built it because they wanted to say the history of San Felipe. And so they had to get money, you know, from all of us.
I got my name in.
Yes. Yeah, and Tere también. So what they did is put in bricks. And in the bricks is your name and your year of graduation. I put my mom and dad there, even though they weren't from, they were, yeah, we memorialized them because they worked around the plaza. Okay. We put Sergio in there because he went to San Felipe, and I don't know if Tere went there or not, but still, yeah.
Lara went there because I went there.
And I'm there because I went there. And so we cannot ever not be with San Felipe, not ever. And we are hoping, what we're looking for, is that our grandchildren will continue doing this for us when we're gone. But yeah, and this is the reason we want to tell you about our city, San Felipe, because we want you to remember this, and if you can tell it to your grandchildren, then great. Maybe this will move on, because our class of 65 is practically almost, a lot had died. Out of 30 somewhat people that were in the group, 9 have died. And all the classes above 65, the majority have died. So yeah, Our reunions are coming to an end very soon, and we're sad about that. So this is the arch, and here, right here, are the names, the bricks, all around it, with the names, our names in it. And you can pass it around.
I paid for a brick and my name is not there.
It is there, my
Is
God.
it?
I saw it.
Okay, thank you, Sophie.
So, I'm glad Sadie's recording a lot because we're going to start the movie now. But we've just touched the tip of the iceberg
Yes.
of the history of our family's roots, where we grew up, our grassroots, where we came from, and where our DNA is. That it was already structured way back when. Hardworking, succeed beyond all pressure.
Have a dream.
Have a dream, work hard. All our roots came from people that were picking crops and working hard and baking in the sun and having 3 people, 4 people to a room, outhouse outside, and couldn't afford anything. But yet, look how far we've come. So there's a lot more to dig into so that we understand who we really are. I suggest we do this next month.
Wonderful.
And then you can invite maybe some of the other family members because there's a lot of history that comes from this, right? And who knows how many people will be at this table next month, including me and everybody else, because only God knows. But while we do know that we can plan for next month, and let's start next time. I think if Joseph is very technical, is a very successful man, came from hard. Your dad was a hardworking man. If there was a way that we could get photos shot of what you have, dig into your archives, bring photos. I don't know, Joseph, if there's a way to scan photos so we can get it on a link with all our pictures, your dad, all the pictures of Ruben, his dad, all the pictures of Eddie, his dad, and my brother, and all the pictures of your kids, and let's just kind of throw it into this big link. And we somehow, I don't know how to do it, but Joseph would know. Yeah. And we just download these pictures, but maybe it's easier for you to bring a picture, we'd snap it, and we'd start downloading them. And then we just start growing this San Felipe grassroots history, right? And genes, so we could see. So that movie Coco, the Coco. So the movie is where if people stop thinking about you, in that movie you're forgotten, and if you're forgotten, you could be dead from a memory. It's a different kind of death, right? It's a death that nobody remembers you anymore because nobody's talked about you or nobody's put you up in the.
And here we are talking about my parents, and
yeah, we haven't even
your mother.
We haven't even touched. We've barely touched the surface here. So let's do that. Let's bring pictures. Let's take photos. Let's not forget anybody in the past. And there was also in Del Rio a lot of kids that died in the service. A lot of kids that died. In fact, during that time period, they were playing taps up and down the street almost every other day from people just from Del Rio. Yeah, so we're gonna touch on a lot of other things, but right now let's get this movie on. We got a little glimpse of what it was to live in Del Rio, and then we'll pick the first week of next month.
Yeah.
Evening, Saturday night, and we'll just confirm everyone's got time, and invite more people, and let's just start hearing a little bit more. We'll see how it goes, okay? And maybe there's some other folks that from Del Rio that can come and talk.
You have Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend's probably good. We can come.
And recommend Ancestry. That's very important because that's what's going to touch them. Ancestry or 23 and or whatever.
That too.
That's what's going to touch the kids to want to search more of their roots.
So here's a picture, honey. Look at this picture. So all right, so let's start. Let's turn the tables here, and let's start with where the movie's going to come on. Yeah, so you want to turn around and face the screen. Or you can sit on this side of the table if you like, right here. Just come on this side so you can see it. Theo, you can just leave it there and you can sit on this side and watch the TV this side. Oh, okay, yeah, any way you want. I'll say, Mom, you guys come and sit on this side looking that way. I'll say, Connie, if you guys sit on this side, Connie, I was thinking, Theo, I was thinking if you didn't tell me here, but you sit on this side facing the TV. But that's okay that way too. Oh, okay, yeah. Huh? Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh no, let's do it on this way. I think I can hear
What's it in there?
No, you sit there, Grandma. I'll sit
Can
somewhere.
you sit here?
I'll sit here. Yeah.
Okay, so next time we're going to have a slideshow that Joseph has created.
Yeah, I do. I got this.
Every man I met in my
Oh, is it good? I haven't even tasted it.
Alright, so Monty, you're not doing emails. It's very good. So I'm sending pictures to Joseph of all the pictures. Or you can bring them here next time. We'll take them. Everyone's going to start looking.
Did you find that in your phone?
that one.